Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Earlier this week, I presented the rampant problem of rural crime. A roving band of thieves went on a robbing and destruction spree, doing over $100,000 of damage. And despite repeated calls, the RCMP were hours away and unavailable to help. Minister, I asked you to provide details about where these 20 new RCMP you referenced in your column have been stationed and received no answer. Can you now table exactly where these officers were deployed?
The Honourable Minister of Justice.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. As I stated last time in answer to the exact same question, Mr. Speaker, many of these new officers are in what are called crime reduction units that are intending to focus on exactly the sort of offenders that the member referenced. These offenders don't stay in one jurisdiction. When they're discovered, they move to another jurisdiction. That's why we've created these crime reduction units that are able to respond to that by moving like the offenders do.
No.
Given that only with the community's help were the accused eventually caught and then released on $3,000 bail, and given that when 5 police officers, 2 mayors, victims and community members showed up at court, the accused offenders did not. Given that a typical penalty for failing to appear in court has been embarrassingly reduced to a simple $300 fine. Minister, isn't the forfeiture of bail and a token fine simply the cost of doing business for these criminals?
The Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There was so much wrong with that question that I'm hardly able to address it all. Mr. Speaker, it's absolutely the case that we're concerned about this issue. And in fact, we have increased grants to organizations like Citizens on Patrol and Rural Crime Watch to ensure that these citizens are able to help the RCMP, and Mr. Speaker, they're happy to do so. In addition, we've increased funding to the RCMP to ensure that they can fight exactly these sorts of criminals. If only the members opposite had voted for it.
Second supplementary.
Given that Bill C-75, which the federal minister says you support, Minister, actually provides more opportunity to release offenders and allows judges to dismiss those who breach release conditions, and given that just props up the current catch and release judicial system. Sure. Minister, why are you knowingly supporting federal laws that make it easier for criminals who are plaguing rural Albertans to get back on the streets?
The Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, nothing could possibly be further from the truth. Mr. Speaker, we are engaging in a smart on crime strategy. That is a strategy that allows us to capture offenders and to build better cases against them in instances in which they should spend more time in jail. Mr. Speaker, at the same time, it's important to invest in social services. I know that the members across the way think that these services that allow addicts to be treated appropriately instead of thrown in jail, which save money and increase safety, are just people putting poison into their veins. But, Mr. Speaker, we know that they're
Thank you, Honourable Member.